My name is Mel Caraway. I'm a resident of McKinney, Senator Taylor, and I'm a retired United Methodist pastor. I'm a board member and past president of the Board of Texas Impact. Texas Impact is a statewide multi-faith network advocacy. Members include individuals, congregations, and governing bodies of Christian, Jewish, and Muslim faith tradition. And we exist solely. We were founded in 1973 in the wake of the Sharpstown scandal. And we exist solely to advance public policies that are consistent with the universally held social principles of the Abrahamic faith traditions. On behalf of our board of directors, I thank you for the committee for the opportunity to submit testimony today. What I would say is that I hope you have the packets of information that we brought good. As you can see from my written testimony, my oral testimony would have been related to Medicaid. But I've heard what you said and how you responded to previous witnesses in not wanting to hear that testimony. So I won't take up your time.
Reverend, it's just I can't. I've got a charge that says property taxes.
I understand.
And if I open it up to Obamacare and all the, we would be here for the next week.
Well,
okay, that's right. Okay.
Texas Impact and our members agree that those Medicaid dollars could very easily reduce the strain on local property taxes. And so what we are asking the committee to do is to come up with creative solutions, a creative way to approach this. As we've listened to testimony today, it has been all over the spectrum. And we've heard municipalities that are having problems with not enough money, with others that are not strained. And so we have to be creative in how we approach and how we look at solutions to the property tax dilemma that we have found ourselves in.
Reverend, I need you to wrap up. Get you
Okay.
30 seconds.
Sure. We have provided in the packet of materials an economic analysis that will show you how accepting the Medicaid dollars, which our taxpayers have already paid for, how those monies can be a solution to at least a portion of this problem without impacting negatively on our state budget.
Thank you for your testimony. Questions?
Yes.
Senator Lucio first, or Senator Taylor?
Thank you for your testimony, and I'd like to obviously expand on it as we near, you know, the upcoming session. I certainly want to hear a little bit more about what your thoughts are and some of the issues that you expound on here. I certainly feel that at one point we have to continue what we hear on Sunday morning, all through the week, and then work at it. We need to be accountable. We always need to be accountable, but also we need to be accountable to the higher law as well. Thank you.
May I
Senator
footnote
Taylor?
that, please? In 2010, state of Texas was looking at accepting the Medicare. In order
Ma'am,
to do
please.
that, they were
Sorry,
going
you're
to have to put a property
Barbara, I
tax
can't let people
on the
come back.
home.
Please,
Okay.
I can't let people come back and testify again. Senator Taylor?
I have always had a 100% meeting policy. I would be delighted to, I have a 100% meeting policy.
Absolutely.
And I would be delighted to sit down with you
Sure.
as long as you want, as many times as you want, and I'd be happy to go into great detail about how Medicaid expansion has failed in every state that has tried it. And let me just say, when I make this argument to the advocates for Medicaid expansion, there's no state that's done it that succeeded. It's always failed. And
Governor Brewer in Arizona did change her mind in.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. It has always failed.
Gentlemen,
Anyway.
I look forward to your future discussion.
But please contact my
And you
Plano
can add
office.
Barbara in on that as well.
Mr.
Okay?
Chairman.
Let me just close by saying that many times have I preached on the text from Matthew 25, where Jesus says, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for the least of these, one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you did to me." And so I think as we look at the problems that we have within the state, we have to look at all the possible solutions rather than just shifting the burden from property tax to a sales tax, which would adversely affect the least of these.
Mr. Chairman, and it's relevant. I mean, I hear you, and I understand that, and Impact is doing a great job, and we have something called Lubbock Impact. I don't know if it's affiliated. I wouldn't think that it is, but community stepping up on an individual basis, helping fill those needs is a good thing. Okay, here's my question for you, and I'm not advocating for this, and it'll be the headline tonight, and I don't want it to be, but it emphasizes the complexity of what we're fixing to have to deal with. And let me suggest to you this. How would you feel about church properties not being exempted from taxes? I'm not advocating for it. I think they should. But you see the dilemma. It's always take his, not mine. Take his, not mine. And so I have pastors that have gotten involved in education, and they're always in my office talking about we need to do better funding for schools. But the minute they look down our tax rolls and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars are off the tax rolls, and rightfully so, I'm a supporter of that, then that discussion stops. So I'm just letting you have the feel for it. It's always, there's never a shortage of people wanting to solve other people's problems with other people's money. And so I just hope you understand none of us are here heartless. We have to balance everything that's up here. We have to look at the options. You know, on its face, I can see where someone would migrate to this issue. But I will say this, and I'm not a pastor, so I'm not about to get into your stuff, but I think that those scriptures are talking about individuals and not government forced, coercive, if you will, at some level. So I just want to be careful when we throw out the
I think
biblical
they
side.
speak to all of us
But-
in whatever
but not
context
corporately.
we live in.
Not corporately, but I would just say this, it's a little bit of a hypocrisy, because we get this beat down at the session level, especially with school finance, and God knows I'd love to be able to give teachers what they're worth tomorrow. There's not enough money for that. But when you have all these exemptions, and one of them being faith-based organizations and your nonprofits, then you start having these discussions. So I just kind of want you to have a global picture more than a finite picture of probably some of the things that you're looking at on a daily basis.
But when you're looking at the healthcare provisions that faith-based hospitals provide, it certainly takes a burden off of the state. And
Gentlemen, let me just say this. This debate
But
goes
anyway,
back,
I just say exemptions are an issue.
right,
It-
this-
But
it goes
it's
back
my
to
exemption,
another-
not your exemption.
Senator Perry, goes back to another scripture from Matthew that you know well, which is when the Pharisees asked Jesus whether they should render the census tax or not. He responded, "Render to Caesar's what is Caesar's, and render to God what is God." So I appreciate that, to follow up Senator Perry's comment.
My
That's
favorite-
what that debate's 2,000 years old.
I just ask that the committee and the legislature and the elected officials of the state heed to what I consider my favorite scripture, although I can't tell you what it is. Blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape.
That sounds like more of something
I
that's
agree.
happening in the presidential election at this point, but thank you so much, Reverend Paula Womack.
And I do thank you for coming and sharing, and I would welcome the same thing that Senator Taylor. I'm always being, I always want to learn, and we can together build a better deal.
Senator Perry, you must.